Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Cooper and I'm with the Elijah Network South Dade One Voice Community Coalition located in South Miami-Dade County, Florida. For those who may be just joining us for the first time, allow me to give a brief introduction as to who we are and what we do. The Elijah Network has been around since the early 1990s with the goal of bringing neighbors together to address the challenges that families and children face in South Miami-Dade. At that time, the main focus for the Elijah Network included youth substance use and violence prevention in the community. To continue the collaboration efforts established, the Elijah Network, local organizations, and residents joined together to form South Dade One Voice Community Coalition in 2011. Since inception, South Dade One Voice Community Coalition focus has been to combat, educate, and help families in the community understand more about the dangers of underage substance use and how they can be advocates for change. The substances we primarily focus on are alcohol, marijuana, prescription medication, opioids, and methamphetamines, because there are many substances being introduced to our youth at a young age. In order to achieve our goals, we have a multitude of projects, strategies, and initiatives. Today we will be joined by the man who makes our train run, our CEO, Curtis Shield.
So good afternoon. How you feeling today?
I'm doing all right. I got to tell you, I'm impressed with this little portable studio got going on here, Mr. Cooper. Got to set it up real quick, man.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's a sunny afternoon. We got a lot to talk about. Busy year ahead of us. However, before we get into that, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background?
About myself. Well, I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Uh, Lived there. I've got one sister, one stepbrother. Lived in Detroit till I was about 12 years old. Moved to the Miami area when I was 12. Lived in Miami, South Miami ever since. Joined the military when I was 19 years old. Left home around that time and have kind of done a little bit of everything, I guess, as far as the working world goes. Um, Most of my adult career I've spent in the EMS, Emergency Management Services, civilian and military EMT, law enforcement, corrections, these kinds of things. Um, but yeah, I enjoy sports. Um, I enjoy sunny South Florida. Gets a little too hot sometimes. It's a little too crowded, but I mean, we make do. But yeah, no, I've kind of adopted the kind of the Miami culture down here. You know, kind of really kind of gotten used to the food. I tell you what, whenever you go anywhere now around the country, you just realize just how good the food is down here. How fresh the seafood is, and just how pretty the landscape is, and you kind of do fall in love with Miami in some ways. So, but really
Definitely.
not, too much more to tell. I kind of lead a kind of a boring life.
Nah, sound like a busy man. Sound like a busy man. So, as CEO, what does holding this position mean to you?
um, that's it. I guess it means just providing guidance and leadership. When Kate started this business back in 1999, she had this vision of kind of starting it, we're helping children to break the cycle of abuse, and also break the cycle of alcohol and drug abuse and these kinds of things. And we have, that is still our primary mission. But I kind of like to see the Elijah Network give the opportunity to young professionals like yourself and give them an opportunity in the management world, to give you experience to where you can go out into the world, the rest of the rest of the business world, the bigger business world, instead of kind of a smaller nonprofit like we are. No disrespect, of course, to us, but we are smaller nonprofit. But you go out there into the bigger business world, and you do have a certain management experience. You know, And that's what I kind of would like to see the Elijah Network do at South Dade One Voice, is take young professionals, give them experience, give them guidance to where they are fully prepared as they get older and they do, expand and grow, and they're able to take this experience and this kind of knowledge and apply it to other things.
Definitely. Have you heard of any new trends involving substances or going around?
Any new trends? Like what?
Maybe new substances coming back up, old substances being used again for the newer generation.
The new substances that I think that is out there today is, man, I mean, everything right now is just so much opioid, and I think we had this conversation before, especially now with like drugs that are on the market today that you can get over the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs like kratom and these kinds of things that you can just basically buy over the counter now. You just go to a local head shop or drug shop or smoke shop and be able to buy this stuff over the counter. And I mean, it's an opioid, just how easy it is also for a lot of these drug companies or a lot of these manufacturers to bring drugs into the country just by swapping a particular kind of chemical or compound or whatever in the drug itself and to make it legal. What is that stuff that they're smoking? What is that called?
Kratom?
Well, not kratom. What is that? Oh gosh, the stuff
the
that
vapes, the K2.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That they're
CBD
able to
oils.
buy like over the counter, and I think they're calling it gas station heroin.
Oh yeah.
And this kind of stuff, and it's just that stuff is crazy. I mean, when I was kind of growing up in high school and everything, it was marijuana and alcohol, and that was it. And now it's like there's all these really like mind-altering drugs that are out there today that not only are easy to buy, but they're hard to detect and drug test as well too. So it is a completely different world out there from when I was growing up to where the generation now is. And it's so much easier to buy. You can buy it online, and like I said, you can buy it from these stores. So I mean,
gas stations.
gas
everywhere.
stations. Yeah, it's a different world. It's a lot harder for parents today to detect this kind of, to keep their kids away from this stuff.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. But I mean, we have to get change somewhere. So, what changes would you like to see from the community leaders?
You know what? We keep changing. We don't. Change takes time. Policy takes time. And I think we're not giving a lot of the policies a chance to kind of grow into generational and make them cultural. The word cultural change gets thrown on a lot. It takes a long time to change a culture. And you see a lot of these community leaders that coming up with all these new ideas for this and that and this and that, but we haven't even had a chance to see if the last changes have worked yet, and we're coming up with new changes. People want instant gratification. And when you're trying to change people's ideas and their attitudes and their beliefs about substance abuse, which I think that we have done a pretty good job at. I mean, I think a lot of people know that doing drugs is bad. I don't think that's something that people, but I would like to see community leaders kind of just stick to their guns and, I may not be the right word to say, stick to their
Stick to the script.
stick to the script a little bit and be strong. I mean, being a leader isn't just about being in that position, man. Being a leader is a lonely position. You're not, if you're so many leaders today, I think, are doing it to try and be popular, to have everybody like them and be the cool person. And if that's what you're looking for, then you're in the wrong business to be a leader, because being a leader is a lonely kind of thing. So I think I would like to see our leaders stick to the script a lot more. And if what they believe in, if the decision that they're making to help the community that they feel is going to better the community, not the entire community, because it's not going to make everybody happy, but the majority of the community, and keep people safe and keep people away from drugs and keep kids away from drugs and these things and stuff like that, to stick with the script and not change as much. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it simple. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's too many policies out there today.
Correct.
And I think we need to kind of bring some of them and kind of rein some of that stuff in a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely a good perspective. I've never thought about that before. It's like you're correct. New person comes in office, everything that was done before gets pushed to the side.
Yeah.
I want this done, new changes. But like you said, stick to the script. So
Yeah, stick to it. You know what I mean? So
that's a good thing. So where do you see the Elijah Network and the coalition in the next 5 years?
say that one more time.
Where do you see the Elijah Network and the coalition in the next 5 years?
Well, hopefully still in business. The nonprofit business is a funny business when you're working in grants and you're having to rely on funding sources from the government and you have to rely on donations. This stuff can run out really quickly. So 5 years from now, I hope we're still in, we're still in business. We're still growing. We're still producing, good leaders like yourself and good people like yourself. And we're still a force in the community, and we're still a name that is recognized. And hopefully we'll have a office and a staff twice the size that we have right now. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I think you're doing a phenomenal job, Kurt. I mean,
Thank you, Cooper.
glad to have you on. So that's really all I have to say. Is anything else you want to share, or?
Well, just again, I mean, the nonprofit world has changed a lot from when I first started in 2004. It's gotten a lot more rigid. It's become more political. It's become more paperwork kind of oriented. And it wasn't like that before. It was, I think, a lot more about people going out in the community. And you got to be a people person in this job. You've got to like people, and you got to be able to sit down with people and work one-on-one with people. And I think now there is just a lot more paperwork that's kind of involved in it now. A lot more statistical kind of gathering and analysis kind of gathering and these kinds of things. And I would like to see maybe us kind of get away from that a lot more and kind of get back to where it was more grassroots, where it was more organic, where you did deal with people a lot more and families a lot more and a lot more interaction. You know what I mean? I know you guys go out to the schools and these kinds of things, which is great stuff, but there's a lot of paperwork more that's kind of involved in it, and that's kind of a drag, and it kind of takes away from the job. And you that becomes kind of the focus, of making sure that the paperwork is done correctly, and you're kind of missing out on the interaction with the people. And that's really the reward in nonprofit. And that's kind of the difference between for-profit and nonprofit. For-profit, the bottom line is the dollar. In nonprofit, the bottom line is seeing the success and the growth of the person that you were working with, and with all the paperwork and stuff, you kind of get bogged down with that. You know what I mean? So I would kind of like to see us, if you ask what leadership changes with leadership, hey, leadership, how about a little less paperwork, a little more people friendly?
Definitely.
That's what
I
I
can
like to see.
definitely understand it, because we go out in the community, and like I said, sometimes we get told no due to extra paperwork, or they weren't certain things a certain way, especially because of COVID, so all the different rules coming up comply.
Yeah.
So I definitely can understand that. It's funny. I think it was last week you came in, you spoke to us about Kratom and everything that was going on. This past coalition meeting we had, I mean, you could say you were the trending topic. We had a nice Kratom discussion, and we really got the word out. We got heard from Poison Control. They had their calls on to give us some statistics to go over.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, just even the little things like that. I mean, it's being heard in the community, it's being seen in the community. That's why I say I really appreciate the opportunity to really sit here and work for you guys and really make a change in the community, from the youth and growing up all the way to the adults who have to be re-taught about the new things that are coming up or re-brought back into the community. So yeah, I definitely really appreciate the opportunity for you sitting down with me today and doing everything. So definitely.
No, not at all. And again, I'm impressed with this little makeshift studio, man. You had this thing like ready in 2 minutes, man.
Gotta have it right
It's
for
a
you,
portable
man.
studio. Yeah, no, that was impressive.
Definitely.
Good stuff.
Possible expansion in the future,
Expansion. You talking about as far as the company goes?
as far as the company goes?
Oh, like I said, yeah, I hope so. I mean, the more expansion, the more people we can bring in, the more people bring in. That's the more profit. We are a nonprofit, but there's nothing wrong with us making money. So the more expansion, the more money we can bring in, the more people we can hire, the younger people that we can hire that I can give an opportunity to put them in management positions. And that's kind of the thing with nonprofit. Nonprofit, everybody's a manager, program manager and this manager. But it is true, because you do manage a lot of programs and money money and logistics and these kinds of things. And again, I mean, I like taking young people and giving them this opportunity to in a real world situation, and so when they do get a little older and they do want to expand their horizons and they go out there into the bigger world, we did give them an opportunity, a good realistic opportunity, because there is a lot of young people out there today where they just don't have, they're not getting the skills, they're not getting the knowledge, they're not getting the abilities that are realistic to put them into the bigger person working world, and you're getting an opportunity to really kind of work with people and really take your skills and your knowledge and your abilities and apply everything, your life experiences, and you get to apply that in with the Elijah Network in nonprofit. And being CEO, that's something that I always want to make sure happens, that everything that you've learned in life up to this point, you can apply it to your job here. You know what I mean? And all your skills get utilized properly. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to feel like they've ever been shortchanged, at this place. And I know, like you have a lot of artistic skills and these kinds of things. And, obviously you've been able to apply that. You know what I mean? So hopefully it's been worthwhile for you.
Oh, definitely. It's been more than that. I mean, besides I've gained so much more people skills and being able to talk. And I was a shy guy myself in high school. So we're doing this job, having to speak out and speak to kids, fairly not too far from my age, but just being able to be knowledgeable and gain more things that I didn't know. And like I said, been here almost 3 years, going on.
Wow, has it been 3 years already?
Going on 3 years now. Wow. So it's been, like I said, a great experience. Always forever grateful. So thank you for sure.
Yeah, no problem. And that's kind of the issue too with nonprofit, is that with nonprofit there's such a high turnover rate. It's hard to keep people around for 20 years at one job. Because it is hard for us to kind of set up 401ks and succession planning and, pay raises 3% every 2 years, or 6% every 2-year pay raise. And it is hard for us to do that kind of stuff. So we don't realistically expect people to stay with us for 20 years. That's why when I'm saying we want to take young people and give them a real good opportunity, to gain some real knowledge, to regain some real work experience and, and this kind of stuff. And so I'm glad that, you've been able to, to take, and grow from these experiences and stuff. And that's good. That makes me feel good. And that's my vision for the Elijah Network. That's what I want. You know what I mean? To be able to build a coalition of young, strong leaders, who've got a good foundation and maybe a good Christian foundation, and be able to take that and apply that to a world. Because, boy, I'll tell you what, this world needs something right now. It needs some ethics. It needs some principles. That we need some morals, because we're kind of losing them in a way. You know what I mean? We've kind of lost our way a little bit as a people. And so, anyways, yeah, good stuff.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. All right.